Okay, there we go. We're gonna just start right there. Hey, everyone. Okay, so we're gonna be going through Limsa Lamensa today, and I think the best way to kind of go about this is to just follow the story for now until we are asked to basically leave, and then we'll do the other thing I wanted to do today. Also, sorry for streaming a little bit later than normal. I need to actually tell that to someone I know. There we go. Um, but yeah, here we are. Greetings, madam, and welcome to our fair city. If you would permit me to examine the seal on the missive you carry. Letter to the Admiral, Leminson Admiral Mirwib. Yeah, everything seems to be in order. My apologies, we cannot afford to be complacent, you understand. Please step this way. I am not doing a pirate voice, no matter how hard they force me. I am not good at doing those.
Enter. So the silver-tongued merchants send an adventurer to speak for them. It appears the Uldans place great faith in you. This way. I bid you welcome. I am Melvib Blufisvin, Admiral of Limsa Lominsa, and Commander of the Maelstrom.
Like I said in the previous episode, the Rogadan of the Sea have this very clear, like, Welsh way of, like, spelling their names. And, I explained it at one point how you're supposed to actually pronounce it, but the best way to do it is, in English, there's a lot of silent letters that kind of, like, overlap and meld together. Welsh, the way you're supposed to pronounce it, is kind of like how you're supposed to pronounce Spanish words, in which every letter is only pronounced one way, and none of them are silent. So it's Melwib Blufiswin, because you're not skipping over any letters, and it's really interesting. It's kind of like the incredibly long city name, you know? And, yeah.
Now, what news from Thanalan?
A memorial service to honor the fallen. Seven hells, has it been 5 years? 5 years since the Garlean Empire sought to wrest Eorzea from our grasp. It was in answer to the Imperial threat that the city-states formed the grain companies and formed the Eorzean Alliance anew. But Garlemald was not content to wager all on a simple contest of martial might. They had other plans, the Meteor Project. Legatus Nelvan Darnus, Hell's Take Him, intended to cleanse our realm by snatching the Lesser Moon Dalamud from the heavens and casting it upon our heads. Desperate to prevent this lunatic scheme, we marched our forces into into the Cartano Flats and there met with the 7th Imperial Legion in battle. Never have I seen a fight like the Battle of Cartano, and I've seen full many. But though we gave no quarter, spared not 1 ounce of effort, we could not prevent what followed. From inside the shell of Dalamud came a winged nightmare. A dragon the size of a bloody city. 'Twas the elder primal Bahamut, bent on making an 8th hell of Eorzea. In the space of a breath, the legions of the Empire were set aflame, while our own armies fared a little better. 'Was the whole world was burning. Words cannot well describe the scene. And yet by some miracle, a few among us were spared. And even as I steeled myself for death, a blinding white light enveloped me, robbing me of my senses. When I regained them, the dragon was gone, and the still smoldering land was warped beyond all knowing. Were Archon Louisoix still with us, he would doubtless have shed light on these unfathomable happenings. Alas, he is not, and I fear we will want for his wisdom in the days to come. For while our nation struggled to recover from the devastation, the beastmen call forth their damned primals and torment us anew. Unless we put aside our differences and rebuild now, our foes will catch us unprepared. And I speak not only of the beastmen. I do not imagine that the Empire has forsaken its claim on Eorzea. The Imperials crowd our borders waiting to strike. Damn it all, we need champions to replace those we lost. But such thoughts are worse than worthless. Time is short and none will save us. Save ourselves? It is... Oh. That syntax was weird for me to say. Time is short and none will save us save ourselves. Yeah. It is our duty... It is the duty of every soul who survived the calamity to work together for the good of Eorzea, and this memorial service may be the very thing to unite us. Valbon has the right of it. I accept his proposal. I do like how this was all in the plans already, but it's just the fact that you came onto the scene that kind of pushed things along, you know? Your duty is done here, adventurer. I will see to it that the Flame General receives my reply. You travel next to Gridania, yes? Pray, give my regards to the Elder Seedseer. Oh, and tell her that the wolf has been sniffing around the stables. A private jest, but one in poor taste, but I would have you tell it all the same. Fare you well, Blue. May the Navigator guide you on your journey. And there we go. Yeah, it's a good thing, it's a good thing I set that on to cover my, my chat window. One of the interesting things about Limsa Lamensa is that it is very famous for having a very, vibrant, vibrant scene of people, like, coming together. Like, you may have seen, like, a few people running around in Thanalin, but there is definitely a large amount of people that run around in Limsa above all. And I personally feel like it's actually kind of neat to have it be like that. Am I able to use... Yes, okay. That'll be for later, though. Limsa Lamensa is an interesting city. It's one of my favorite in terms of just general vibe and everything, but we do need to do something first. Again, like I said, mostly of what we're going to be doing here today is, even though we had just finished the storyline that we were doing so far, oh yeah, there's an event going on, we still have several crafting things, and more importantly, our combat class, hello little shark, to do. And like I said, I fell on the idea that I want to do, oh right, I don't have any of the, I don't have any of the Ethernet spots. I should probably do that while I talk. Okay, so I came to the conclusion that I wanted to focus on the classes that I was going to be using for most of the game anyway. So, Arcanist, I want to do before I go, and all of the crafting and gathering stuff that you can do here. Gonna try to get those crafting classes up enough to get the secondary, and at least get to level 10 for the at least get the level 10 for the Gatherer. You don't get a secondary for Fisher until way later, because they didn't start doing, what is it called? Spearfishing until, like, a lot later. So there's no way for us to actually access it until the time comes for us to actually do that. I think this is the last one over here. And then we could run down into that. Again, I actually like Limsa Lamenta a lot. I can understand just certain people, like, not liking the layout of the city, because it's kind of clustered. But I personally really enjoy the way it is. And you could definitely see where certain aspects of the city had to be changed between 1.0 and 2.0. Like, there's certain areas of the city that are just not used. See, like, there's a lot of people over here right now. On the right side, though, it means that... Man. Yeah. One, it means that there's a lot of people. But it also means that there's a lot of noise. And the more people that are in an area, the more the ambient talking happens. Also, I saw that. Someone was just passed out on the ground over there. And I don't know, I kind of enjoy the sort of, like, vibe that the entirety of the city is vibrant. And that you can and some of the reasons why I like MMOs as an experience is to just kind of see people running around. It's why I wanted to play a lot of Monster Hunter when it first came out, because at least the few newest ones, because it had that overall vibe of having that MMO experience, but with a small group of people. But it would have still been nice to see those people around, you know? Okay. There should be one left, and it is the Fisherman's Guild, right. Just gotta run down here. I honestly think that Limsa Lamenta is one of the better places to start out, because it has the most things to do inside of your main city. And I honestly believe that. Okay. And with this is the last one. And there we go. Now access the Zephyr Gate to Middle Lenotia and the Tempest Gate to Lower Lenotia. The airship landing, and then we have this ferry that will take us to exactly 2 spots. If we can like zoom out, you can kind of see the trails that come off of this one. One of them goes up and around the entirety of Vilbrant, which is the name of the island that we're currently on, over here to Eastern Lenotia, and the other path you take is over here to Western Lenotia. Honestly, like, even though there is this part with, like, Up Lenotia, like, having 2 separated parts like that, like, it is probably one of the most easy to traverse areas in the game. Because it's all self-contained. And, just to show you, the island of Vilbrant is, which is what this is called, is a self-contained island, and it has a major volcano on top of it, which is, I believe, technically, like, right here. Like, we only really, like, explore the lower part of the island, because the other part is a bunch of rocky crags that are more or less occupied by the other tribes of the island. And, you know, I don't want to go into it too much, but I might as well, since we're in it. We got to know Thanalin and Ul'dah as a city through the storyline, but very aptly they put it that even though people view it as a monarchy, the Sultanate actually doesn't have too much power. They just have the largest chip on the table in their Council of Elders, effectively. And it kind of makes, like, everything surrounding the stuff in Thanalan feel very hostile, you know? And I kind of want to put forward the idea that, conversely, Limsa Lamensa has a very, I don't want to say fascist, but it is a very, like, dictatorial environment where everything is based off of military procedure, and the admiral of the military commands, as she puts it, the great Limsa Lamensa. And everyone has a role to play, and if you go out of line, you will not fare well. And we're going to talk about Gridania when we go over there, but I honestly think that it is better if we wait to actually see some of the stuff that's over there to talk about it. I'm going to do the combat class first and foremost, because I honestly want to get around to doing that before the crafting classes. Also because I wanted to, like, fill up more of the space. Anyway, here it is. This is the Arcanist Guild. Like I said, Arcanist has actually 2 classes that splinter off from it. And, well, I'm going to just let them explain what Arcanist is about, and you'll kind of understand why everything about it is the way that it is. Welcome to the Arcanist Guild. It is here that we research and develop the field of Arcanima. Arcanima is the science of employing arcane geometries, intricate patterns that map the unlocking mysteries of existence, to draw forth and manipulate the body's etheric energies. If you prefer an arcane art built on structured thought and precise reasoning, then your discerning intellect may find a home here at our guild. Might you consider enrolling yourself as an initiate? Aha! Just as I predicted. Before we proceed any further, however, let us first feed your appetite for knowledge with a morsel of guild history. The roots of Arcanima can be traced back to the esoteric calculations practiced by the people of the South Sea Isles. It was these island folk that first discovered the method to express natural phenomena in mathematical terms. Building on this process, the existing mathematical formula were further developed into arcane geometries, precise patterns that allowed a practitioner to weave ether into specific magical effects. The mages who invoked this new form of magic became known as Arcanists, and the school of Arcanima was born. Many such mages, wishing to expand their understanding of the world, took to the seas aboard trading vessels. Upon their arrival in Limsa Lamensa, the Arcanists found themselves welcomed into the academic elite and soon secured positions in the realms of governance and council. The knowledge of an Arcanist, however, is traditionally passed from a master to a chosen disciple. As such, Admiral Merweb, counting several wielders of Arcanima among her personal staff, became concerned that this exclusionary practice would lead to the eventual extinction of the art. So, at the Admiral's express orders, the official Arcanist Guild was established. Funding was provided for research and training. The complex and demanding nature of Arcanima, however, remains the greatest threat to its own future. If you invite such cerebral challenges, then you have but to reaffirm your commitment to joining our guild. Well, have you decided to enroll? Yes. Your sound judgment is to be commended. Now, standard practice dictates that I introduce you to our guildmaster, that you might convey your intentions in person. Due to extraordinary circumstances, however, she is unreachable at the present. Instead, you may speak to Mistress Thugbrim. Thub? Wirgam. Thub Wirgam. She has shouldered full responsibility for the guild's leadership in the interim. You'll find her just over there by the bookshelves. You needn't be shy, though her mind is sharp and critical, her manner is always most welcoming. Okay. Yes, I am Thurbergrim. Beer. Thubirgim. Thubirgem. Geim? Geim. Thubirgeim. Greetings. I have no idea. It's almost like saying the word thaumaturge, but like kind of different. Thubrirgeim. Greetings, and welcome to the Arcanist Guild. As Muri has doubtlessly explained, I am serving as acting guildmaster until our wayward leader deigns to return. I assume our capable receptionist also spoke about our art's origins. Allow me then to expound upon its nature. Arcanima taps into the living energies of ether. The evidence of this is represented most aptly, perhaps, by our ability to manifest the arcane entity Carbuncle, and the manner of magic which this ethereal ally employs at our command. The core of the discipline, however, is found in the pursuit of definitive solutions to any potential quandary, even on the field of battle. Nay, especially on the field of battle, this principle takes precedence. If one wishes to make certain the question of victory, then one must apply the most effective strategy. An Arcanist is measured by her ability to calmly analyze a situation from moment to moment and respond with the most appropriate spells at hand. The study of Arcanima will test your mental faculties to the point of perplexity. Are you prepared to reason your way through predicament after predicament? Yeah, sure. I'm prepared to reason. An unambiguous response, the kind I must prefer. Let us now see if the clarity of your words is matched by the sharpness of your mind. Here, take this grimoire in hand, and we shall next judge your aptitude for a discipline. Got it. I just realized I might not actually have anything to wear. Yeah, I have the gathering stuff I could wear. Do I have level 1 boots? No, I do not. There we go. And there we go. Armory bonus. This is the first time that we've encountered this, so I guess I should explain. To lessen the burden of leveling multiple disciplines of war and magic classes, an experience point bonus known as the Armory bonus is added when slaying enemies and participating in fates. This bonus grows larger and greater the higher the discrepancy between your current levels and the level of your highest class. Use this to your advantage when deciding when and how to raise secondary classes. This is one of the ways that we're going to be leveling the alternate classes, because again, we're not really going to be focusing on the other side ones that we're not going to be fully focusing on. So, like, effectively, when we're at level 50, and we get to the patch stuff, and we eventually start working on Rogue, Rogue is going to level super fast, because it's going from 1 to 50, and the closer it gets to 50, the lesser it's going to go. And this was literally devised so people can go all the way to max level with one class, and then whatever class they start doing afterwards, like let's just say I get to like 90 with Gladiator, and I go, I might want to pick up Dance. Dancer's a bad one because it like is 60. Let's just say, again, Rogue. We pick it up there when Gladiator's at 90. Like every kill is going to give us a level for a while. It is actually insane. Okay. Let me 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18? +18 plus 11 is 29? Okay, there we go. Recommended gear. There we go. Wait, let me see if I still have the macro up. I think I should. And it should be... I'm gonna just put it there until I... Wait, I forgot to double check. 29. There we go. Okay, so I actually did manage to get that correctly. Okay. Acting Guildmaster Thub wishes to judge your aptitude for Arcanima. It's a hefty tome, is it not? I promise you a grimoire's weight becomes a comforting anchor amidst a shifting sea of battle. In fact, you'll soon discover. In Lower Lenotia, you will find, amongst others, three species of pest. I implore you to eradicate 3 of each type of creature. Oh. Leave the city through the Tempest Gate, and you'll soon encounter the potential targets in abundance. As long as you remain focused, I do not foresee these opponents causing your budding abilities undue difficulty. Once you return from completing this preliminary trial, I'll welcome you as an official member of the Arcanist Guild. May your judgment remain swift and clear. Okay, makes sense. It's basically the same quest that they put you on at the very beginning for the other classes. I was like checking my phone to see if something got sent to me, but it was just something that was playing on it. Okay. So I will kind of explain what goes on in Arcanist. Pretty simple. You have a pet. That's about it. Away. Heal. Place. There we go. And the reason why I'm putting these here is because they kind of get covered up by that. So our pet that we summon has some stuff that it can do, but the only problem is that it doesn't really translate too well, and I might actually just replace all these later. Actually, I might actually just like place all these up here for now. Okay. Back to this. So, we've got our regular ability, which is Ruin. And we also got Summon Carbuncle, which we're not going to be able to do until level 2. We would be able to summon Carbuncle right now if we had actually started as... Arcanist. We would have actually got that little bit of experience to get us to level 2 from even just interacting with the acting guild member. The acting guild master. So, welcome to Lenotia. It's very coastal. Like, the entire game is predicated on it being a coastal region at all times. It's kind of neat. Immediately cut off what was going on. Only need one more ladybug. Dang it, brain. Whenever I read Ladybug, now all I hear is I shall name you Ladybird. Okay, so what was the last one? An RLA. Oh right, those are the I actually can't remember how I had all this set up. But this is an ability that can only be executed while Carbuncle is currently summoned. So, how about we summon it? There we go, our blue Carbuncle. Funny story. Originally, what happened was that they wanted to change how Carbuncle worked. So effectively, they've completely rewritten this class. Arcanist has not changed, but what has changed is the way that Summoner and Scholar, once you evolve from it, what is used and what isn't. For instance, as we're about to see from like when we level up, like one more time. We now get Physic, which is a healing ability, which normally you wouldn't associate with DPS classes getting a healing ability, but the interesting thing about Arcanist is that it really is a jack-of-all-trades type of class, even from, like, us getting an ability that, like, acts like a tank's mitigation, which is pretty neat overall. The only, like, the biggest difference between middle, lower, middle, you're in lower right now. Why is it? Cedarwood. Yeah, I guess it wants me to go to Cedarwood. It makes sense. Yeah, so as you can see, now that we have it out, the pet bar fills up right there. Directly showing that we actually didn't need to do any of this. And one of the kind of neat things about... Oh, right. Grimoires are alchemists, so we can actually just repair that right now. There we go. One of the kind of neat thing... Okay, so I'm gonna kind of geek out about this because this is the type of thing I really like. I've always liked, pet classes in MMOs. For context, one of the classes that I played in World of Warcraft is a Demonology Warlock, where effectively you do the same thing here, where you run around and you find cool pets to summon to make your strategies better. And I've always really liked summoners and blue mages in other Final Fantasy games. I just find their toolset really cool. Which is why I actually got kind of sad when they told me that Carbuncle no longer attacks when you're an Arcanist. Which is like the whole thing about like heal and away. Because there's no real reason for it to like run out and do stuff anymore. Yeah, there's no reason for it to run out and do stuff anymore to do this. Like, it no longer has any real ability. Like, I can't do the same thing that I can later do with the Chocobo Companion, where I could go, like, attack mode, guard mode, heal mode, like, make sure that I'm okay, make sure that enemies are, like, pulled away from me. Like, it's actually kind of sad. I liked how it was before, but I understand the reasoning of not having so much of the class be reliant on your pet. Mind looking at something from the adventurer? It may be of interest to you, in fact. I'm told the plots within the mist are auctioned off. You, me, hells, even a 12's damned wandering minstrel could purchase their own piece of Lenotia. And upon that plot of land, you'd be free to build a house and for you and yours, and you can't tell me that the thought isn't at least slightly pleasing, can you? It is a bit surprising that the phallocracy, that is such a word, the aristocracy of the sea had the time and resources to prepare such an area, with the kobolds and primals causing all manner of trouble. But who am I to judge with the priorities of politicians? Much less pirates, eh? Besides, I'd like nothing more than to own my own home. I've yet to verify the truth of the tale, though. If you've no objections to taking a detour from your adventures, why not head towards the gate to the Mist and see a Maelstrom representative who could confirm or deny these land auctions? Sorry, I had the hat. I had the cough up a lung. Summer allergies are really bad. So yeah, this is the exact same thing with what happened in Thanalan, and it basically goes the exact same way. The auctions? By order of the Admiral herself, the Mist and all plots within are to be sold exclusively to adventurers, as to encourage their immigration to Limsa Lamensa. Why only adventurers, you ask? Practical necessity, really. Limsa Lamensa is in dire need of fresh blood, capable, courageous adventurers who will fight her foes and protect her interests. Those who build a home here will have that much more incentive to aid us. As for what manner of place the Mist is, I think it is best that you journey there and see for yourself. Please direct any other questions you might have to the recruit station just past the entrance. Yeah, again, it's the exact same thing. Go to a specified ward, jump into a random ward, see the cutscene that happens because you go here for the first time. Just had to load. Greetings, adventurer. Welcome to the Mist. A Lamencian sent you, you say? Ah, that's unfortunate. All Lamencians are barred from participating in the auctions, you see, on the account of the fact that they are, well, Lamencian. Admiral's decree. If you find the area to your liking, though, please consider speaking with the resident caretaker. Yeah, that's all we really needed. Again, like, honestly, like, if I ever get a house, it's probably gonna be in the Mist. I just really like coastal towns like this. Like, it is definitely based off of, like, the brickwork of, like, Greece and, like, other places like that. But, at the end of the day, I am more likely to enjoy that sort of environment than one in the middle of the desert. The only one that I might actually enjoy a little bit more is when we go up, when we eventually go up to Ishgard, because it's constantly snowing up there, and I, for one, love the snow as an aesthetic. Like, I know several people don't like wintering environments, but I just love snow as a time of year. Mostly because it's too cold for me to have allergies. Ironic. Ironic since most people know winter for the time in which they get colds. There you are. What news have you brought me? For the purpose of luring adventurers to Limsa Lomensa. That's unfortunate, but it does explain a great deal. Looks like my dream of owning my own home will have to wait a bit longer. But don't you worry about me. My day will come soon enough. You can now teleport to the residential district from the inside of Limsa Lomensa. There we go. I was gonna level just a little bit more. What was up in Cedarwood? The nesting buzzards. Okay. Yeah, much like Thanalin, there isn't none of the regular enemies are really hostile to you. There's only like a few of them that actually like try to get in your way when it comes to that kind of thing. That might actually be a little bit too high for me. And I can't really see any of the buzzards actually. Oh, there they are. I was about to summon the carbuncle again because I couldn't see it. Yeah, so I didn't explain this too well, but now I can because we have a crafting class. Effectively, within the last, like, 20 milliseconds, because of server lag, you can actually reposition yourself a little bit. The trance gauge. The trance gauge indicates the time remaining for the effects of ether change. Executing this action will also grant Ruby Arcanium, which will summon the Ruby Carbuncle. At level 15, it will also grant Topaz Arcanum for summoning the Topaz Carbuncle, and at 22 for the Emerald Arcanum for summoning Emerald Carbuncle. Each summon, when called forth, will tap into the perspective Arcanum, granting you stacks of elemental attunement indicated on the trance gauge. Yeah, granting you stacks of an elemental attunement indicated on the trance gauge. These elemental attunements will augment Gemshine and Precious Brilliance, which is acquired at level 26. So, summon Ruby, I'm going to just set you right there. Because we're going to need you to be a little bit out of the way. Ether Change, I'm going to leave you right there. Might as well put Physic right there. Actually, I'll put Summon Carbuncle right there. And then Gemshine, which is the elemental-based attack. As they said, we will then be able to get Precious Brilliance, which is the same thing, but as an AoE. You know. It's interesting. I'm gonna be candid. I honestly think that the change that they made to Arcanist as a whole kind of ruined the class, But it's not all bad. I understand why they did it, and why they actually went about doing it like this, because it puts more power into the actual hand of the player. But at the end of the day, it still feels kind of bad that the class feels a bit... Well, I'm going to just use the phrase neutered a little bit. So that they can have more aspects geared towards Summoner when you actually become Summoner. Because originally what happened is that once you hit level 30 and you become a Summoner, Summon Ruby becomes, Carbuncles become Eggies. And Eggies are actual, elemental summons. So Ruby becomes an Eggy for the Primal Ifrit. Topaz, which I'm actually going to just pull up right now so I could just have them right there. Actually, I'm going to just put Physic over here at, yeah. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where to put anything right now. There we go. The fact that we actually have Resurrection as a, as a casting class is really funny, because it means that, there's only one caster that doesn't have some form of resurrection ability. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so Ruby becomes the Ifrit Eggy, the Primal of Fire. Topaz becomes the Titan Eggy, which is the Primal of Earth, and then Emerald becomes the Garuda Eggy, which is the Primal of Wind. Honestly, I kind of liked what they were doing, but I completely understand why the changes happened. Because as you can see, our little carbuncle is not attacking, not doing much. And that is completely because most of the damaging power came out of the carbuncle, meaning that if for whatever reason you didn't have the carbuncle out, you were basically doing an eighth of the potential damage you could have been doing at any one time. And forcing the player to basically have the carbuncle out was kind of weird. But then again, you couldn't even do half of the things in the class without having it out, so I'm not quite sure where the thought process was. There we go. Just set that over there. And here we are in Middle Lenosia, which is honestly the main area. There we go. Wait, did we? No, because the Aetheryte's all the way down there. There is actually an Aetheryte over here for some reason. I don't know why there isn't an Aetheryte right there. It feels awkward. There's this whole area that looks like it should have one, but then just doesn't. Oops, so only need 3. There we go. Yeah, like I mentioned, the hunting log is instrumental to us getting good stuff. Both of those are in Summerford. Yeah, clearly some shady stuff is gonna be there eventually. Yeah, much like with what they did in following the Paladin quest line, and yeah, as you can see, if you move, the casting ends. But if you wait till the last second, because of server lag, you'll actually be able to drift a little bit. It is one of the coolest aspects of the craft of the casting classes. And that tiny little thing has actually saved me multiple times from getting out of attack patterns. Because, again, you can't move as a casting class, so you have to actually wait for your ability to go off before you can actually do anything. Oh right, it's inside of this little area over here. So this is why I was actually debating holding on to the casting stuff that I made with Weaver. Because I would actually be having some element of casting items if I actually held on to them. I think luckily I didn't make too many of them when I was going back this time. I think I might still be able to create them as my first time doing it. Oh, Etheric Change. We now get a damage buff, effectively. At least while that's going up. And when it's over, we have a Ruby Gemstone. Now that we have a Ruby Gemstone, we can summon Ruby. Comes the Ruby Carbuncle. The Ruby Carbuncle then goes to an enemy, does the Ruby attack, and then returns as the Blue Carbuncle. We will now get a certain amount of abilities to use it on Gemshine, which is the aspected ability. But don't worry, because actual elements don't really matter too much anymore, so you don't need to worry about too much of... Okay, so this character is water-based. I need electricity to hit them. You know, it's not Pokemon stuff, but it does kind of have those shades of it, you know? Oh, right. 1 second, actually. Duty 1, Duty 2. Yeah. Summon that. Now we're gonna just head back up here. But yeah, honestly, if Paladin wasn't the main class that we were gonna be, using all the way through Endwalker, effectively, I would actually consider Arcanist slash Summoner to be my main class. Because I'm probably going to be using it a lot more, because even though I have some gripes with what they changed with it, it's still one of my favorite classes. Again, because because I am, of course, a mark for summoner classes or things with checklists. And, like, it's some pretty great stuff when you really look into it. Oh, Met Traveler. Okay. Oh man, there's like a... One second. I'm actually trying to think of where I spent most of my money on, actually. Gonna just move some things down. Oh, right. Getting more dark matter. So you'll notice that one of the things that is about the marmot steak that I have right here is that it's skill speed. Us being a caster, we actually need spell speed, which is probably our second most important stat behind determination, which is actually the thing that dictates every ability you have. It basically is your ability, the potency of every ability, even healing, is your determination stat. Like, it is nuts. So, like, the only thing after that, after determination, probably crit and direct hit rate if you're actually, yeah, crit and then direct hit rate if you're a caster, sorry, if you're a ranged DPS, skill speed if you're a, yeah, skill speed if you're a melee character, and then spell speed if you're a caster character. And that includes tanks, and tanks for skill speed and healers for spell speed. I might be asking, what about this with, like, roll stat down here? Useless. I have been told by several people that that stat is actually useless. Like, looking into how that stat works, basically it doesn't raise anything. It is better to just put a single point into making your determination better than to even bother with the, like, yellow materia. It's actually kind of sad, a little bit. Because they have, like, this whole thing for, like, of, like, yellow materia, of, like, use this to make this class better, and it's like, nah. I see the creatures beyond the city walls posed a little threat. It is with great pleasure, then, that I formally recognize your initiation into the guild. From this day forth, you may proudly bear the title of Arcanist. I suggest you continue with your forays into the wilderness and keep the pages of your grimoire turning. There is no finer teacher than the harsh mistress of experience. And when you feel like you can command carbuncle as easy as you might move your own limbs, return to me for further instruction. I will be waiting. And there we go. Custom robe of casting. The one thing we actually needed. Ah, blue, isn't it? Are you eating well? An empty stomach distracts the mind and leads to hurry judgment. Don't remind me, I forgot to eat before streaming. I must oft remind my Arcanist to take meals so ensconced that they become in their studies. As you can tell, this is in fact my class. Speaking of which, have you been practicing your tactics with Carbuncle? I believe it is time to assess the improvement of your skills. As with your previous trial, I would have you defeat foes in Lower Lenotia. 3 wild dodos, 3 tiny mandragora, to be precise. Watch carefully the behavior of your opponents. Formulate an effective strategy and utilize your arcane entity to its fullest potential. I expect you back in time for breakfast. Okay. Actually, no, I'm gonna do it. Okay. Crafting. Go to level 6 through 10. I want to go to level 10 stuff, actually. Hempen robe at level 12. Okay. So we need in total 8 Moko grass? Do we actually have that much? No, we actually used up all of our Moko grass. Luckily though, this area between a Hawker's Alley and the main Aetheryte is the best place to find every single, like, item you could need. It takes so long to load. There's so many people here. Gotta run to get out of the crowds of enemies. Sorry, the crowds of regular people standing around. Meat. Horn. Mocha grass, there we go. Let's just grab 10, just to be sure. Yeah, this is the, slightly less glamorous side of, doing a crafting class, is that you feel obligated to spend your money on components to make items instead of actually buying them, which honestly is a good thing because it means that you're gonna be increasing your level with that crafting class, along with getting something that you actually want to use. We're almost at a point where using basic touch does enough to just automatically complete hempen yarn. Like, it is actually astounding. Okay. Materia extraction. I believe we needed 3, right? Oh wait, we went one too high. Yeah, we need 3 hempen cloth. Like, look at that. I, like, instantly, like... I don't even really need to worry too much about, like, what I'm doing. I could just, like... I could, you know, I could do, I could just sit there and just do quick synthesis. But the thing is that, like, we get, like, such a big bonus from actually getting high-quality stuff. Not just from the side of it helps us create the things down the road, but we also end up getting more experience as well. Let's see. There we go. We activated good conditions, so we can get a little bonus from that. Choose a trade to bring back a little bit of crafting points. Uh, 2 undyed cotton, 1 hard leather, 1 animal sinew. We need 4 cotton balls for that as well. Okay. Do you have any cotton balls, or do I need to actually go all the way back over? Oh my gosh, I have to go all the way back over there. The worst part is he doesn't even have hard leather. Place an armory chest. Okay. On the bright side, I do have a return that we could use to go over there to at least get a little bit of, like, extra, like, gil back from that. Because all we need is the cotton balls, which I actually probably should have bought, like, a lot of them before heading over. Weaver's Guild. There we go. I should actually just buy, like... it's 4 each. Wait, is it 4 each, or is it just 2 each? And I need 4 in total. It's 4 in total. Okay. Yeah, it's 2 each to create 1. So it's the same. So it's the same calculation that we had with Moko grass. Okay, cotton balls. We need 30. Oh, that's a lot more than I thought. Actually, just 10. There we go. And as you can see here, like, we need a lot of gil to travel back and forth between the areas. And the best way to kind of travel back if you're low on money is to just use the airship. And if you're really desperate for money... Yeah, if you're really desperate for money, you can always take the, If you're really desperate for money, you can walk all the way over there. On the bright side, because... Oh wait, are we actually headed to Gridania instead? Whoops. No, it actually sent me back over here. Okay, cool. Because Dang it, I didn't... Did I buy the hard leather? I did not buy the hard leather. I am so fed up with myself. Okay, I'm gonna double check to see if the... I think they should. But I think that the Armor Smithing Guild might have some hard leather to sell. I think they might also have, like, cotton cloth as well. Excuse me, but I need to talk. Hard leather, there we go. Crafting. Oh, right, I have to do cotton yarn first. There we go. Okay, so it's 21 out of 26, so we should be okay. Oh, and we got good instead. Never mind. On the bright side, this is actually going to get us, like, a lot of experience, just because I'm having this bout of psychosis where I have to, like, instinctually craft everything. Again, this is honestly, like, the best strategy for doing things, though, is that you save so much money on actually, like, crafting your own things, instead of relying solely on other people, or, who will most likely, raise the price, because... Because people want to be compensated for their job. They want to be compensated for the good job that they do. So good that they don't make it high quality and they don't... Wait, actually no. I want to hold on to those last 2 cotton balls just in case. Okay, now we've got to make... two things of cotton cloth. Like I could understand if you find any of this boring. I don't. Like, I consider, like, crafting to be one of the most essential parts of any MMO experience. It's why I honestly say this, like, oh man, Final Fantasy is like... whenever I see someone say, like, oh man, I love Final Fantasy and its crafting stuff, I just, like, kind of chuckle and shake my head. I'm like, you really need to play Guild Wars. Because I like the way that they do that, where it's like, okay, so I have... Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to make this comparison. But someone equated it to, PAAP, where it's like, okay, so I've got these 2 different types of fabric, and we've got, like, 2 different types of ore, shove them together, oh look, a recipe. But it is kind of how you're supposed to craft things in that game, where you're just like... You have a bunch of things together, you have a checklist, and it says, hey, just so you know, this type of leather still has 2 recipes left. Try to figure out what it is, and so you just start, like, making a jigsaw puzzle. You just compare it to every other item that you have in your entire inventory to find out, oh, it's something from, like, such a high level that there's no way that you're going to be able to do it. I was like, dang it. I was expecting to be able to do something at least. Okay, place that one in armory chest 2, set both of those there. We have like 400 left. I think what I'm gonna do... I actually did use a craftsmanship one. Oh well. I'll just hold on to that for a bit. I'm actually gonna go and... I'm gonna go get some food that is, whoops. I'm gonna go get some food that increases spell speed. Okay, where is your pot watch type person? Is it over there? I think it might be. Because I only want to grab about, like, oh, there it is, Culinarian. What do you sell for casting speed? Spell speed. Right there. You know, I just had a sudden thought. Why am I even buying food? Why don't I just become a Culinarian myself? Since I am currently doing stuff in Limsa Lamensa, might as well. Okay, Culinarian's Guild. Here we go. Like, you may think that this is... You might think this is a joke, but, like, honestly, like... This is probably the best way to go about this. I beg your pardon, good ma'am, but this is the Culinarians Guild. If you are here to dine on the Bismarck, one of our waiters will be along shortly to show you to your... Oh, you're not a patron. Might I assume that you actually wish to become a Culinarian? If so, I wholeheartedly recommend that you join the Culinarian Guild, where one may learn the culinary arts under the finest chefs of the realm. What say you? Wonderful. Then without further ado, I shall acquaint you with the history of our guild. As you are doubtless aware, Limsa Lamensa has long been the gastronomic capital of Eorzea. The city's rich culinary tradition is the product of a unique combination of factors. The first is our proximity to the fertile lands and plentiful seas of Vilbrand, which has ever yielded bounteous produce. The second is our standing as the realm's foremost trading port, which grants us access not only to the exotic ingredients from faraway shores, but also to the foreign merchants versed in their use. We are, in short, the beneficiaries of culinary knowledge from every other corner of the world. Until recently, the knowledge of this kind was passed on solely through word of mouth, and therefore is susceptible to corruption and loss. But all that changed when one man made it his mission to catalog every recipe of note. His name was Admiral Golskiff. Baldwin. It's like a Baldwin, but it's like Baldwason. Also known as the Mast Cleaver. The man's love of fine cuisine was such that at sea, he would regularly spend as much time preparing meals in the galley as giving commands on the bridge. It was none other than he who founded the Culinarians Guild and codified cooking methodology. Today, the guild carries on Baldwason's legacy, though the scope of our endeavors have expanded significantly. Not content with simply preserving existing recipes, we labor tirelessly to devise wholly novel culinary creations with which to delight the senses. To this end, our doors are open to folk who, from all walks of life, including adventurers such as your good self. One may liken our guild to a great pot of stew, in which each member to an ingredient imparting a unique flavor. As with every dish, however, adding ingredients willy-nilly is certain to spoil the taste. Therefore, you may take your place in the pot. Before you take your place in the pot, you must be deemed a worthwhile addition by Guildmaster Langsath, a man whose passion for cookery burns hotter than any oven. Before troubling him, I must warn you that ours is a truly sweltering kitchen. As such, you will be well advised to ask yourself, can I stand the heat? If you earnestly believe that you can, speak to me once more, and I shall be glad to guide you through the enrollment process. Wonderful. Then you must speak to Guildmaster Langsath at once. This will come as no surprise, but he is the finest chef in Limsa. His skill and dedication are second to none. And you will find Guildmaster up the stairs yonder, keeping a watchful eye on his charges. Impress upon him your desire to learn, and he will surely find a place for you in his stew. By which I mean the guild. You know, it's kind of funny. Like, every crafting and gathering makes sense. Like, let me just, like, show this off. There's, like, Fisher, of course, that makes a lot of sense. Culinarian, again, just as much, considering that people with a lot of ships need some sort of food, and as they said, like, it being a port town, you're gonna see a lot of things move through. And then, of course, blacksmith and armorer working with metals for war, considering that they are a very military-like organization. Which basically leaves leather worker, carpenter, botanist. Like, it makes sense that the forest will have those type of things inside of it. To kind of deal with the to kind of deal with the stuff that is happening inside the forest itself. Because of course the thing dealing with wood and like animal parts is going to be the stuff in the forest. And again, I honestly think that the crafting classes and combat classes are exactly the same, in which every single class that is in each of those areas make sense by where they are. Like, it is so fascinating to kind of look into all of that. Well, adventurer, I take it that you want to join the guild. Let's have a look at you then. What's an underfed whelp like you know about cooking? Judging by them scrawny arms of yours, you'd struggle to lift a spoon, never mind a skillet. I jest. It don't take muscle to be a culinarian, else it doesn't even take talent. It's not your own. No, lass, more than anything else, becoming a good cook boils down to passion. If you got that, then you got nothing you can't achieve, so tell me, have you got it? That's the spirit. Your passion for the culinary arts is plain to see. If you've been needing every bit of it, you want to become a master culinarian. Why, if mastery was a 12-course dinner, you've already finished the soup. Make no mistake, our trade's as tough as old mutton, and passion's the only thing what gets us through the grisly bits. But enough talk. What do you call yourself? Well, Blue, welcome to the guild. To mark the occasion, I present you with your own skillet. and much to look at, but it'll more than serve a novice like yourself. Now then, let's see whether you can tell which end's which. Now I know that I said you struggle to lift a spoon, but you've won me over. Now, show me you can lift an old skillet. There we go. So, Culinarian is the only crafting that doesn't have a complementary, that has a complementary thing that it can, that can repair. But if you take fish, you can desynthesize it into sand, basically meaning that Fisher and Culinarian are very, like, linked together. And I'm gonna go over some of the finer stuff with desynthesization when we eventually get there, but right now it's not really too important. So number 8. What am I doing? I have to actually set up all my crafting stuff. I don't usually do this live. There's a good chance I might actually just fully, like, cut this part out in editing, but I actually do have a little guide for myself to, like, no, that's gathering, to put everything exactly the way that I usually like it. I'm actually tempted to only put in things that I'm going to use up until level 50, actually. It's 9. Yeah, it looks really awkward with only the stuff the level 50, like, sitting there. Well, don't really need to worry about too much. I see you're holding that skillet the right way around. Good. Let me just take that screen away then. A culinarian lives and dies by his utensils. Get that into your head before you do aught else, or your food will look like shite and taste worse. Now, let's see what else you could do. For starters, I want you to make maple syrup using your skillet. Recipes as simple as they come. You only need 2 things: maple sap and a fire shard. Joshi sells sap over at the guild counter, so time's a wasting. Let's get to work. Right, I forgot. Okay. Maple syrup. Wait, did we actually... Yeah, maple syrup. We need 1 thing of maple sap. If we had actually gone to Gordania, we would before we did this, we actually would have gotten a little bit of it, but we don't really need to worry about that too much right now. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's the other thing that you'll notice, is that much like Alchemist, you end up getting a lot of stuff for what you make. Like out of the maple syrup we just made, we have 2 left over from the one we just turned in. Maple syrup's ready, is it? About bloody time. Let's see how it tastes then. Oh, this ain't bad. Flavor's alright. Consistency's nearly there. In short, a damn sight better than a lot of the novices manage. As you probably know, maple syrup's one of the most popular sweeteners around here and is a key element in all manner of cakes and treats. What you probably didn't know is that boiling the stuff down gets you maple sugar, a different sweetener with different uses. Just goes to show that even the simplest ingredients have hidden complexities. I said earlier that a culinarian lives and dies by his utensils. Well, that's just the half of it. You also need to know his ingredients, and that's somewhat, as only comes with experience. Keep your nose to the stove and report back when you're ready for another task. So what we're about to do is highly inadvisable. Table salt, we actually just got 30 things of rock salt. As you can see, we actually do several things with it in alchemy. In cooking, all we really need is table salt. So are we going to keep all this rock salt? Maybe, because we need to make some more potions and stuff. But the thing is that, like, how many potions I actually make? 6 and 3? Man, I'm lame. Why didn't I make more, like, when I was off screen? Okay, so what we're going to do is quick synthesis. So what we're going to do is we're going to go quick synthesis all. 14. So we actually leave, so we leave the other 15 for Alchemist later. I just leave that like that for a bit while I drink the rest of my, so. And just like that, we're at level 6. We can even make some of that maple sugar that he was talking about. Again, like, even doing like one crafting class high enough that you can unlock material condition elevates every other class you do, because now you're dealing with, like, a bunch of things to amplify the way that you're going through the other crafting classes. And there we go, culinary knife as the secondary tool. You've covered a good time, Blue. Just so happens I need your help with something. One of our chefs buggered up an order a bit ago, and he's been down in the dumps ever since. Ingram's the name. Joined the guild a few moons before you did. Determined lad, but don't take failure too well. Any road, I can't have him crying over into a soup. Plays havoc with the seasoning, you see? So it wants me to try to cheer him up, but there's like a good meal to take a man's mind off of his many failings. A nice little bit of grilled trout will do the trick. 'Tis one of his favorites. If you want to cook a plate like that, I reckon you'll find the experience highly motivating. The main ingredient, Princess Trout, can be had at the Highland. As for Ingram, you'll find him working at the kitchens. Prepare the dish and take it to him. Happy grilling! Okay. So we're actually gonna quickly run over here and buy, what is it, like grapes, lowland grapes, there we go. Actually gonna be 7, there we go. I'm gonna hold on to those grapes for a bit. Wait, is the recipe calls for 3? No, it just calls for 1. Okay. So there's actually 2 little stores that we can go to that aren't just the Culinarian Guild. So one of the ones that you talked about is the Highland, which is all the way down over there. But there's also this one over here, which is like an herbal shop. I forget what this one's called. It's like the 7-mast. The 7th Sage. There we go. And this sells like grenade ash and marble vine, which you can't even like find until like level 50. This is actually a really great place to find formic acid, sandworm fangs, and Sangoli sage. You're gonna need these for several things with Alchemist, and there are some times in which I just completely forget that you can actually buy stuff from here. But the Highland, so over here in the crossroads over here, is a bit more for the food stuff. No, I didn't talk about it. I didn't talk about the stores that you can go to in Thanalin, because Thanalin's stores are a little bit less important. At least the ones that aren't directly tied to a guild. The other 2 areas have more interesting stores. Especially here in the Highland. Because it's important, because they sell haddock, and maiden carp, and crimson crayfish. Crawdads. You could also buy some elegant snails and tree toads, but like, yeah, like all of this stuff that you can find, like dusk gobies, all of this is really useful fishing stuff if you don't actually have a fisher yourself. So, Princess Trout, we need about 5. Now, you might be wondering, why are we buying 5 when we only need 1? Well, funny you mentioned that. I'm actually going to be making all 5 of these grilled trouts because they give us critical hit, which is going to be really useful for a very simple... Do I actually have enough for marmot steak? No, we need 3 wild onions and 3 garland garlics. Okay. We can actually go back up there and do that. Again, like, as you may have surmised, the Culinarians Guild is my favorite crafting class. Just because there's so much that goes into a piece of food. Like, the Roland Berry shaved ice, just like looking at this, you see all of these materials and you go like, how am I, what? He has like, you get stuff for like fishing tackles, you get fish meal for like gardening, boiled eggs, which are like, I think I may have mentioned, is the premier like thing you want to use for like if you don't really care about the stats of the thing that you're eating. Like you could use mineral water, which you can also drink, but boiled egg gives you that 1 point of vitality and those 2 points of critical hit. Not much, but it is something. Okay, marmot steaks. We want 3 wild onion, and we want... Actually, I'm gonna buy 5 onions, 5 garlic, and 2 additional marmot meat. Ow. What the heck is in my eye? Okay. 5... Garlian garlic. There we go. Next, we want marmot meat. We need to buy 2 more of those. There we go. So actually, let's just craft things down the list, you know? Let's do that so we can have a little bit more for our crafting stuff. Okay, lowland grapes to make raisins. This is the entire reason why I came to do this class right now. We're going to do the other classes in the next episode, but I just wanted to get this over with since I feel like it's important. Yes. How fortuitous that we get an ability right after we ended up needing one. Yeah, right after we ended up needing it. Three things of basic touch because we're just slightly off. Master's Mend to get back her stuff, so we're out of the red. Back over there. Yeah, we're getting like three raisins each, so we're not gonna run out of raisins too often. Yeah, we actually do have enough space to just put all that stuff right there, actually. Someone once tried to tell me that the more actions that you do when you're crafting stuff gets you more experience. They're wrong. But valiant effort to try to reverse engineer how the game works. There we go. Now we have 21 handfuls of raisins. Okay. Skill speed. Spell speed. Crafting. Gathering. There we go. I have all of our foodstuffs right there, right next to our potions. Next, just going down the list, we're going to make the marmot steaks, which we are definitely going to be using more of as time goes on. We're still going to use the low quality ones right here, but if we just go control, you can kind of see the difference between the two. Where instead of a max of 8%, we have a max of 10%. That single extra point early game is pretty substantial. Okay. I was checking something that was just sent to me. There we go, level 9. I honestly think that the biggest difference between the other crafting classes and something like Culinarian is that you end up... Yeah, I think Culinarian and Alchemist kind of have the same thing, but Alchemist has weapons that you can make. It feels like Culinarian is one of the most useful skills that you can kind of pick up. Like, sure, you can make potions and stuff for your stuff, which a lot of the alchemist stuff eventually like loops back into every other crafting things. But Culinarian, it feels distant from everything else, you know? Everything feeds into Culinarian, but it doesn't feed back into other things. A lot of the times. Okay. Oh, we got a condition change. Good. Okay, 2 more. How fortuitous. And one last one. Oh, how nice of you, game. I still have to use that last thing of quality raising, but hey, nice try. Okay, so we made all this table salt, like literally 90 table salt. And as you can see, table salt is used for a long while. Like, we still need to use table salt all the way up until, like, literally when we're doing, like, Shadowbringer stuff. Because salt is one of the most common ingredients in actual cooking, so it makes sense. But they also didn't want it to make it, like, too hard. I also just kind of realized we're probably not going to use any of this fish that we just got, besides the amount that we're crafting right now. So I might actually just utilize all of the grilled trout that we're about to make and then go on to the marmot steaks. Even though, like, technically the grilled trout has a higher level, quote-unquote. I see this one's not really wanting to cooperate right now. Valiant effort, I guess. Yeah, I could have gotten away with not needing to use that, but oh well. There we go, level 11. Let's make 2 more spots for all this stuff. The way I'm separating it out is melee, melee casting, yeah, melee magic crafting gathering. So, like, it's gonna just go down the list of, like, first, second, third. Yeah. You could probably tell to see what the thing that I'm really focusing on is. This is technically a higher level, but it's dealing with vitality and direct hit rate, which is not going to be as useful. Yeah, vitality has a percentage instead of a single point, though. You're going to get more stats out of this one. But that 3 points in skill speed is actually really useful. But I'm going to hold true to my, what I said before, and value the actual item level of the food more than the stats that it gives me. Oh, that's a dove. This is Ingram. What is it? A grilled trout from me? Well, yes, I am quite fond of fish, but what have I done to deserve it? Gem Master thought you'd cheer me up, you say? Well, meaning though he may be, food is not the solution to every woe. But, come, let's see your handiwork. It's my duty as your senior to give you... What was the word? Counsel, after all. Certainly not. You made this? The aroma, it's delightful. And the skin ever so lightly charred, just as it should be. 12 saved me. The thought of skinning my teeth and sinking my teeth in that crispy layer and tasting the tender fish. Oh, Beg your pardon. As I was saying, this is quite impressive. In fact, not even the Guildmaster would be able to fault it. Trust me, I know. But I don't understand it. You've been here scarcely long enough to learn syrup making, and yet you're capable of this? Do you know how long it took me to achieve the same 6 bleeding moons? Gods, I'm so utterly devoid of talent. No, I'll not be outdone by a mere novice. I refuse to be outdone. Apologies. I thank you for the trout. I would have you accept this knife from me. You know, out of context, with everything you just said, use it in conjunction with your skillet and your cooking experience will be much enhanced. Do not mistake it for a gift. It is payment for the trout, nothing more. Besides, it would give me no pleasure than to get the better of a woman who wasn't properly equipped. Now, leave me be. I have no stock. I have stock to take. Yeah, I'm on all this stuff from before. Getting that because we are seriously out of money. Sell that for 75. Jeez. And there we go. So, now we have foodstuffs. You know, I just noticed that we actually can make space. Fine, we're making space. Grilled trout, you're going right there for ranged DPS. Again, tank is gonna be using this. Casters are gonna be using this along as healers. This is gonna be exclusively for ninja and the ranged DPS classes because usually those things overlap a lot of the times. As I've said multiple times, I honestly think that they should move Rogue over to physical range DPS. Everything then... It's 4 each! Come on. Do I want to continue? It's been like 2 hours on recording. It's going to be like chopped down a little bit because I'm going to remove some of that crafting. And the whole reason I did that was so that I can have the right, like, thing for Summoner. Again, I'm not going to be able to, stop saying the actual, like, name of the class. There we go. Mandragores and dodos. I saw them in lower Lenocia, actually. Yeah, I'm definitely, I'm definitely gonna stick with it until I actually hit level 15 for Arcanist, at least. And again, like, I see how low my shoes are going. It's just really lamentable that most of the shoe, most of the feet stuff that you can find is directly tied in with both of the crafting classes for Gridania. Let me just quickly repair that and double check to see everything else. I'm actually tempted. I want to do the other crafting stuff in the next episode. I'm gonna at least finish this. I'm gonna at least finish this quest, and then I'm gonna end it off. So we now have Addle. Addle is an ability that reduces the amount of lowest target's physical damage dealt by 50% and magic damage by 10. The melee DPS classes have the opposite, in which they lower the damage that they're dealing physically by 10, and then magical by 5. They recently made it so that both of them have the same ability, just in opposite, because it used to be 15 on both, 15 on each. But casters were lowering magical, and physical were, of course, reducing physical. But it turns out maybe it's important for the for you to diversify the amount that you have. Several people lament how homogenized the classes have become over the years, but I honestly think that the game's ethos of making it so that you can succeed regardless of which class that you're doing is important to the actual game. You can get all the way up until the final boss playing healer, which I did on my main character, but the fact that the game does not shy away from doing that is important. I hate toads so much. Because they will start every single damage rotation with pulling you. And as a caster, it is very annoying. Yeah, you might as well just start running backwards to kind of offset the amount of damage that you're going to take. So you can get out of the circle faster. Huh. That one didn't pull me. It actually attempted to, like, try to grab me instead. Or, like, dive at me. See, it's very frame one. Like, the second they know that you have aggro, they attempt to hit you. We're also picking up a lot of animal skin for when we eventually, do leather worker, I guess. We'll do the yellow jackets, just unable to contend with level 8 Arcanist. Yeah, as you can see, one of the important things that you do kind of learn from attacking enemies like this is that a caster's biggest weakness is not actually in a skill set, it's in the fact that you have to contend with the fact that you have to move out of enemy range. The best way that I've kind of described it is that in a party of 5, I'm gonna say 5, even though it's reduced to 4. In a party of 5, you're kind of dealing with you're dealing with the tank being in the front of the party, and all of your DPS is kind of in the middle, with your casters and healers like behind it. You know, you kind of make like a wedge sort of shape. To be honest, like, yeah, we have been going for about like 2 hours right now. You know what? I'm gonna just finish this off next time. So, we'll just do that. We'll do that next time. I'll just end it off there. Yeah, just see y'all later. Goodbye.